My sister and I, she's not a year younger than I am, we were 10 years old in 1936, and we went to visit Europe, my grandmother. And we left Northern Manitoba with a train, and took us 4 days to get to New York. And we were just 9 and 10. It was quite an experience for young kids, you know. I mean, I saw things I never knew. I remember coming into New York and didn't know which way to go because I never saw steps going up and down in the New York station. But your inclination is to go up. So I went up, and pretty soon I got to the top, and there was a guy come along with a red cap. Nowadays, I know it was a porter, but I didn't know that. But the thing is this, he took me, he asked me where I wanted to go. I said I needed a taxi, I wanted to go to the ship. And he got the taxi for me. And the thing is this, then he held out his hand. He wanted a tip. Well, I had no more idea about tip. I never tipped anybody in my life at 10 years old up in North. But I did go to a few movies, and I saw how they did that. You know, it was a good thing I went to some movies to saw how that lived. But the thing is, smallest money I had was 25 cents in my pocket. And I mean, if 5 and 10 cents was a big tip at those days, I gave him the 25 cents. But the big thing is I never saw a black man before, and his hand was white. That's what I remember. His inside of his hand where I put it was white. And anyway, that's what struck me different. But it was a nice man. He got us to the ship, and we ran around the ship for 2 days before it took off. The captain knew us very well because you imagine 9 and 10 years old, we were traveling steerage, but they had better toys and stuff to play with in the first class. We ended up there, and the captain didn't mind, but some of the mothers did. So he always found us someplace. So we ended up, it was an honor to sit at the captain's table for people. But we sat there all the time because that's the way he could keep track of us. We ended up in Europe. The different fella come to meet us somewhat, and then I had a picture of. But in the meantime, a death had happened, and the people that figured that was a good thing for him for come to pick us up, something to do. He just lost his wife, but I wouldn't go with him until the captain okayed it. Because the captain almost got to be like a father in 10 days. We were 10 days on the ocean, you know, and no, he checked them all out. He says, "You can go." So we went. I ended up, instead of supposed to be 1 year, but it ended up 2.5 years. I went to school there and traveled Austria, went right down into Yugoslavia illegally because it was a few boys, and we walked around the soldiers at that time already, everybody with guns walking back and forth, and we snuck around them and got down to the first village, but we didn't go into the village, we didn't dare. So I was 12 at that time, and we all give the postcard, and there was a little girl there, and we just give her a pile of money and told her to mail the postcard, put a stamp on them. Can you imagine my parents? I'm supposed to be in Germany. They get the postcard in Yugoslavia, from Yugoslavia, and I have no idea. It's just I'm in Yugoslavia, whatever I wrote on the postcard. But they couldn't phone back. They had to wait till they got a letter back. And even my grandparents didn't know in Germany that I wasn't supposed to be in Yugoslavia. I was supposed to be in Austria. And it was quite an understanding, you know. Before they got that all straight, the grandparents and my parents were quite worried because they had no idea.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like today. You just take your cell phone. That's where I am. Top. There was no way. And up in northern Manitoba, there wasn't even a phone. So I had a little bit with the telegraph, but that was about as far as we went. But that didn't do them much good to get the connection with the telegraph to Europe wasn't, at least from northern Manitoba, wasn't that good. They waited for a letter, which relieved my mother quite a bit, I guess. So they tell me. I don't know. I wasn't there. But my mother came in 1939, no, 38 for Christmas. She stayed with her folks and all the relatives. And we all went back I think it was in June in 1939.